Hello beauties, and welcome back to the Bumpy Bones Locksport channel. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this beautiful vintage Corbin padlock that I recently got from Greyhound. So let's go and get started. First, thank you Greyhound for sending me this padlock. I absolutely love it. I love collecting vintage locks. I will fully admit my collection of vintage padlocks isn't that big right now. I've been focusing more on the high security padlocks recently, but I absolutely love playing with vintage padlocks, and this lock definitely was a challenge. Now, normally in vintage padlocks, we'll just find regular security pins or regular driver pins on it, so typically they're not much of a challenge to open if well maintained. However, with a lot of vintage locks, these locks are used, and this is very much a worn lock. Depending on previous owners and how they lubricate this or where it is, you can definitely get a lot of gunk in the keyway, and that impacts the ability to pick locks open. And that definitely was the big challenge with this lock. In fact, when I was talking with Greyhound about it, he mentioned that he had several of these and that he was having a hard time getting them open. So I was really looking forward to seeing what I could do to kind of overcome some of the issues that I was having when I was initially trying to get this open. And so one thing that I notice is when I'm looking at the padlock here, there's this lubricate with graphite on here. That's something that we'll commonly find on a lot of vintage padlocks and all of that. And when I was picking it, I was noticing I was getting a lot of gunk out of here. And that's one of the problems with graphite lubrication is it's a actual physical material that you're putting in. It's a carbon graphite. And that graphite, even though it's a very, very fine powder, provides the lubrication, but it's a very fine powder. And so it can build up over time. And if someone adds a wet lubricant to that, that can even gunk it up even more. And I think that is what happened with it because when I was trying to pick it open and when I pulled my pick out, it was just black all around it. So what I did with this was I tried my best to kind of clean it out. Now that's difficult when it's a lock that you cannot disassemble. And so what I actually used, I heard about this on the one of the lockpicking Facebook groups I belong to, is this Houdini spray. And so I sprayed it pretty liberally with this, and then I used compressed air to kind of get that all around. And this I actually have found to be a really, really good um, spray. I actually use this on door hinges as well, and it's really great. I absolutely love it. The other oil that I'll use on my locks is this Triflow, but I didn't really want to use that with this because I wanted to clean it, and I think the Houdini does a better job with penetrating and cleaning the lock rather than that Triflow. So the trifle would be something I would use after getting it all nice and clean and all of that. And then what I did is I let it sit overnight, and then I got these gum soft picks here, and I use these to kind of help clean the keyway out a bit. So what I did was I just used this, and I kind of used it right up on the key pins there, and just swabbed in and out pretty aggressively, at least as aggressive as I can. And you can actually still see, let me change the focus on the camera here. I'm still pulling out some gunk with it. So you can kind of see the black on that. And it's not as much, it's getting better. But the amount of gunk that was in here was quite a bit. And the more I did that, the more I was starting to feel the pins. When the pins are gunked up, what you'll often feel is a very mushy pin. So when you're trying to lift them and all that, you don't get a click. You just get this mush that just keeps going up and down and all that. So cleaning that out the best you can always helps. And I know I'm not getting up into the security pins up here, But at least getting down and where the key pins are and getting the shear line cleaned out a little bit, I think is definitely helping with it. So let's go ahead and throw this in a vise. And let's go ahead and try picking this guy open after giving it a nice cleaning here. So I got a new camera too, so that we've got kind of a new perspective here as well. So, and I noticed that that just dipped a little bit, so I'm going to change that. There we go. And let's go ahead and change focus. Perfect. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to use my bare bones Pharaoh 50 thousandths pick, because as you can see, that will go into the bottom of the keyway really nicely there, and it will give us a pretty good hold on the keyway. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use pretty heavy tension. And this camera isn't wanting to cooperate with the lighting, so I'm going to change, see if I can get a little bit more light. There we go. All right, so I'm going to start with a multi-pick. Actually, I'm going to do the short hook, short flat hook first. And then if I need it, I'm going to jump to my Elite Hook 1. Pin 2 on this is a low cut, and so getting past that can be a bit fun. And I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more light. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. And what I'm going to do is, of course, start with pin 1. Pin 2 feels good. Pin 3. All right, so I got a nice click on pin 4, I think. I think this is a 5-pin lock. The last pin definitely is a tight one, so I got a nice click there. All right, so pin 2, I don't really want to touch because I know that's a low cut. All right, pin 3, I got a little click out of there. All right, pin 1's binding now. And let's go ahead and, all right, got to click out of pin 1. Pin 2, I don't really want, pin 3, and there we go. And we are open. So the more I do that swabbing on it, the better we get out of that. So let's go ahead and actually take a look at the lock here, because I always like to see what type of actuator or what type of locking method it uses. And so it does look like we have a spring. Yeah, that's a pretty heavy spring. Let me use my tensioner here. Oh yeah, yep, that is a spring actuator. And we can actually take a look at the shackle too and just see that we got that cut out there. So this could definitely be susceptible to kinetic attack. I don't do that a lot because it does hurt my hands. So I've been trying to figure out, using a hammer and all that. And I haven't been successful with it yet, but that is a very heavy spring that's on there. Probably could shim that open as well. But you can see, my hands aren't as gunked up as they were the first time I got it open, but still got, a little bit of oil on it and all that. So, but yeah, so that's the vintage Corbin padlock. Thank you very much, Greyhound, for sending this my way. I absolutely love it. It is a wonderful lock. I'm going to continue to keep working on cleaning it up a little bit to see if I can get the pins just to be a little bit more crisp and all of that. But it definitely was really fun to figure out and to get open and all that. So I hope everybody enjoyed this video. As always, do feel free to like and comment on my videos and subscribe to my channel. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day.